I began to walk through the forest, and the tree line quickly becomes the only thing I could see looking up. Looking through the trees began to look like I was standing in place, like the illusion of walking down a never-ending hallway. I would use my hands' armor plating to mark trees with a scrape to keep track of where I had been, just in case this planet had something in store for me. As I continue walking, I can hear the sound of animals in the distance, rustling of trees, and my own footsteps. Nothing out of the ordinary, but my mind begins to wander. Flashes of when I was a child, exploring the lands around the settlement I'd grown up in. Memories I didn't think I had anymore. They felt like somebody else's life. A vivid dream. I did this all while continuing to stay aware of my surroundings, like some strange out-of-body experience. I snap out of it, stop dead in my tracks, and before me stands some ancient ruins. These buildings made of stone with a sand tannish color, overgrown with vines, and were leading to the center of something. As I walked about the ruins, I discovered a few things. These ruins seemed to be a town of sorts, due to the ruins not spanning very far until I hit forest again. That's how I assumed it was a town. It also seemed like it had previously been lived in, but not for a very, very long time. This town was built in a plus sign, with big walkways separating the town into quarters. This town had a very large circular piece of stone at its center. The stone had one big symbol on it, though I didn't know what it was. I was tempted to step on this grand piece of stone to see if anything would happen or if I could move it. But something was telling me to step to the left. It almost felt as if I was being pulled that way. That infamous sound, whizzing by the right side of my head and just nipping my shoulder pad. My head turns to look at the sniper while my body's reflexes kick in and I head for cover. I spot a glimpse of the sniper sitting up in the tree line. It must have just climbed up there, or else it would have shot me when I first walked into the ruins. Which means this bastard might have a squad pushing me or flanking me right now. Either way, I need to get closer to get a clear shot off at it. I began to maneuver through the buildings as I stay in cover, clearing the first of 3 alleyways. As I dive out of the window of this building and into the second alleyway, an energy-based sword slashes under me, just narrowly missing my feet at the end. I roll out of my dive and slam up against the building I was aiming towards. Another swing comes from my head. I duck, crouch, and spin, all while grabbing my shotgun off my back and firing at that blue blur trying to kill me. Because I'm firing at point-blank range, my shotgun pellets rip right through the shielding and base armor of this blue object. Purple blood splatters upon the walls of the alley and a little bit on my armor. As I stand up, I get a good look at the mangled body before me. With its sleek armor, 4 mandibles for a mouth, and matching me in height. I would come to know these creatures as elites. I had heard about them from the Chai Seti encounter, but wouldn't believe it till I saw it. Well, here it was. I cock my shotgun, put it on my back once again, pick up the energy sword handle, and put it on my right thigh magnet for further research. I continue through the next 2 buildings without a problem. As I sit inside the 3rd building, I peek out of a side window and get a glimpse of the sniper. Seems like he's still looking at the alleyway where I killed his friend. If it expects me to pop out over there, then it's in for a rude surprise. I pull the assault rifle off my back and fire about 10 bullets into the sniper. 7 of them rip right through it, killing it instantly. It falls backwards, off its nest, and onto the ground. I jump out of the window and sprint towards the sniper's body. With its skinny body, elongated beak, and very little armor, I would come to know these nasty bastards as jackal snipers. I hear 2 creatures screaming in fear as they run out of the alleyway and into the main walkway. They're small, but more like adult small, and have a decent amount of armor and seem like they might be more difficult to take down than the snipers. Grunts. They both have small round weapons that fit perfectly into their hands. I aim my assault rifle at the one closest and fire. A barrage of bullets shred through the first one with ease, using the rest of my assault rifle magazine. I drop my rifle magazine to reload, and as I'm grabbing the next magazine, I shit you not, I see the second one full sprinting towards me with glowing blue hands.
Kill best friend.
Did this thing just speak English? I drop my AR on the ground and quickly pick up the jackal's weapon, hip firing into the grunt. He falls on his face, laying about 10 feet away from me. Then his hands glow brighter and brighter until he explodes. Side note, for the longest time, I thought I was hallucinating in that moment. Back on track. Silence fell in the town and surrounding forest. No more enemies trying to attack me, apparently. I drop the sniper's weapon and pick up my AR, moving to investigate the bodies. As the second grunt's body was heavily mangled, I can only look at his buddy, the first one I shot. I noticed 2 blue round objects on the first grunt I had shot, similar to what the second grunt had in its hands. I looked at them for a moment and then decided to pick one up. The metal of the object seemed to be some sort of button. So, like the idiot I am, I pressed it. It lit up and immediately started to make a sound that was getting louder. So I threw it at a tree behind me and it stuck to the tree. A few seconds later, boom! The tree was split in half. The base of the tree still on the ground, while the top half had flown up into the air and landed sideways in the main walkway. Whoa! I said to myself. I shake it off and run back to the center of town with my assault rifle at the ready, looking everywhere around me for more enemies. I couldn't help but feel like something was up with that center stone. So, when I approached it, I did decide to step on it. The ground began to shake and the stone began to open evenly 2 ways like a door. When the 2 sections stopped, it revealed a large stone stairwell leading to somewhat of a diamond-shaped door underground. I look around, rifle drawn, see if there are any more hostiles approaching, and slowly begin to walk down the stairs. With my back towards the door and me just waiting to get ambushed, keep my rifle pointed up the stairs. Look back to touch the door, but it seems stuck. I pry the left side and manage to get it to move far enough for me to step through it. Taking one last glance up the stairs, I quickly turn my body and run through the doorway. I'm greeted this time by a stone ramp leading further into what seems like an underground facility. I walk down this ramp and run into a one-way corridor that I continue down. As I walk down this corridor, the light from outside fades quicker and quicker. I activate my helmet's night vision to see my surroundings. At the end of this corridor, I'm greeted by yet another oddly shaped door that opens by itself this time. As I walk in, I make sure to look in each direction, clearing the room. It is a big open room with what appears to be 3 yellow-colored, fluid-filled tanks with something in them. Something grotesque. Each tank contained a specimen, somewhat different from the other in shape and size, but still resembling each other. I continue past the tanks, and the room seems to continue off to the right and beyond the tanks. I see something at the end of the room and walk towards it. As I get closer, it seems to be multiple hologram screens of some sort. 2 display information about the tanks. Another says surveillance system offline. And the 4th is flashing in red. Seems to be sending a signal of sorts. Signal? The signal? But how? How could this be sending a signal, much less still be sending out a signal? Unless this was still being monitored somehow. How long has this signal been active? Did Oni know about this? Yet this room doesn't even seem disturbed. As all these questions race through my mind within seconds, I hear a shuffle. I look forward, then quickly turn around.